You've been waiting for years maybe. The door is still closed. The situation hasn't moved. And you're starting to wonder if it ever will. You stood at Arafah last year. You asked. You cried. You believed something would change. And then the days passed. Nothing moved. The same problem is still there. The same door still hasn't opened. So this year feels different. You're not excited anymore. You're cautious. You're thinking, why would this year be any different? I asked before, nothing happened. But here's what most people don't realize. Those prayers weren't ignored. Those Arafahs weren't wasted. Every single time you stood there asking, Allah was moving things you couldn't see yet. The miracle you've been waiting for is already written. Allah already knows when it will arrive. Arafah 2026 isn't where you convince Him to give it to you. It's where you receive what He's been holding all along. And everything between your first dua and now, every closed door, every delayed answer, every year that passed, maybe the delay was preparing you first. Allah was getting you ready for what's coming. By the end of this, you'll understand why the wait happened and why this Arafah is different. You've asked so many times, same dua, different year, no change. And at some point you started thinking, maybe Allah won't answer. Maybe this is just how it is. But here's something most people don't know about dua. Something that changes everything if you really understand it. When Allah talks about dua in the Quran, He doesn't say, if my slaves ask about me. He says, when my slaves ask about me, I am near. You see the difference? If means maybe they will, maybe they won't. When means I'm expecting them to, I'm waiting for them to. Allah is waiting for you to ask, not wondering if you will, waiting for when you will. And look at what He calls you, not the believers, not the righteous ones. He says, my slaves, my slaves. That word my isn't just ownership, it's love. When you say my about someone, you care about them. Even if you haven't prayed in months, even if you just watched 3 movies before making dua, even if you feel too far gone, Allah still calls you my slave because you're His. And He's waiting for you to ask. The question was never, will Allah answer me? The question is, when will I finally ask Him? Most people come to dua backwards. They think Allah might not want to answer. They think they have to convince Him. They think maybe if they cry harder or beg louder, He'll consider it. But Allah already wants to answer you. He's waiting for you to ask. He's been waiting this whole time. So on Arafah 2026, the issue isn't whether Allah is ready to respond. He is. He's always been ready. The issue is whether you're ready to ask like someone who knows He's listening. Allah isn't waiting to see if you'll ask. He's waiting for you to finally ask. While you thought nothing was happening, Allah was moving everything. You were looking at the one door that stayed closed. Allah was looking at 10 doors He needed to shut first. Because if any of those had opened, you would have walked through. And you would have ended up somewhere you were never meant to be. That job you didn't get 3 years ago. That relationship that fell apart. That opportunity that disappeared at the last minute. You saw loss. Allah saw protection. Because here's what we don't realize when we're in the middle of waiting. We think the only thing happening is our situation staying stuck. But that's not true. Allah is always moving, always arranging, always clearing the path for what He already decided to give you. While you were waiting, He was removing the wrong people from your life. The ones who would have delayed you even longer. The ones who would have taken you off course. While you were waiting, He was building skills in you that you didn't have before. Patience you didn't know you needed. Strength you'll use later. Certainty that only comes from sitting in the dark and still choosing to trust. while you were waiting, He was preparing the actual answer. Not just any answer, the right one. The one that fits who you are now, not who you were 3 years ago. Because the version of you from 3 years ago couldn't have handled what's coming. You weren't ready yet. You didn't have what you needed to carry it, but you do now. Every year you waited added something to you, something necessary, something that will make sense later when the door finally opens and you see what was on the other side all along. Maybe the delay had a purpose you couldn't see yet. Maybe Allah was protecting you from a version of life that would have broken you. Maybe what you were asking for back then would have led you somewhere you weren't ready to handle. You don't know what was being arranged while you waited. You only see the moment you're in. Allah sees what comes after it too. So when He says not yet, it's not withholding, it's timing, down to the day, down to the moment. Allah wasn't ignoring your dua, He was preparing you to handle the answer. Allah marks certain moments before they arrive. Your birth was marked, the day you'll die is marked, the person you'll marry was marked, the rizq you'll receive was marked. None of it is random, all of it has a date attached to it, and your breakthrough has a date too. You don't know what that date is, but Allah does. He's known it since before you were born, since before you even knew you'd need it. And here's what happens when that appointed time arrives. Everything that seemed impossible starts moving. Doors that were locked for years suddenly open. People who never responded suddenly call. Opportunities that didn't exist last month suddenly appear. Not because you did something different, because the time arrived. You've seen this before in your own life. You tried something 5 times and it didn't work. Then the 6th time it worked instantly. You applied somewhere 10 times and got rejected. Then the 11th time they said yes without hesitation. What changed? Not your effort, not your qualifications. The timing changed. The appointed moment arrived. That's how Allah works. He doesn't move on your schedule. He moves on His. And when His timing says now, everything shifts. So why might 2026 be different? Because maybe this is the year Allah marked for you. Maybe everything you survived until now was leading here. Maybe this Arafah is the appointed moment. You can't know for sure, but you can approach it like it is. You can stand there on that day and ask like someone who knows their time has come. Not begging, not doubting, just receiving what was already written. Because if this is your year, nothing you do will stop it. And if it's not, nothing you do will force it. But you still have to show up. You still have to ask. You still have to stand at Arafah with your hands open, because the miracle might be waiting on the other side of this one day. Allah doesn't move on your schedule. He moves on His. And when His timing says now, everything shifts. Here's something most people don't think about. Your rizq is already decided. The money you'll make this year is already written. The health you'll have is already written. The doors that will open are already written. Allah isn't sitting there waiting to see if you pray hard enough. He already decided what He's giving you before you were born, before you even knew you'd need it. So what's the point of dua then? Dua isn't where you convince Allah to change His mind. Dua is where you align yourself to receive what He already planned to give. Think of it like this. There's a package with your name on it. It's already wrapped, already addressed, already scheduled for delivery. Dua is you showing up to collect it, not begging the sender to send it. Just being there when it arrives. That's what Arafah is, the delivery date. Allah already knows what you need. He already knows what you're carrying. He already knows the exact door that needs to open, and He already decided when it will. Your job isn't to convince Him. Your job is to show up with your hands open, ready to receive, believing it's already already on the way. Because here's what changes when you understand this. You stop asking like someone who thinks Allah might say no. You start asking like someone collecting what's already theirs. You stop begging, you start trusting. You stop doubting whether it'll happen. You start asking when it'll happen. And that shift in how you ask changes everything. Because now you're not praying from desperation, you're praying from certainty. Allah already wrote the answer. Arafah is just when you receive it. The miracle isn't uncertain, it's already written. Arafah is just the delivery date. The miracle is ready, but you're not receiving it. And here's why. You asked, but you don't actually believe it'll happen. You pray, but you've already accepted the closed door. You raise your hands, but your heart already decided nothing will change. And that doubt, that lack of certainty, that's what blocks it. Allah already said yes, but you're still standing there like He said no. Imagine someone tells you, I have a gift for you, come pick it up tomorrow. And you say, okay, but you don't actually believe them, so you don't show up. Or you show up, but you're not really expecting anything. You walk in thinking, they probably forgot. They probably changed their mind. That's how most people make dua. They ask, but they don't expect. They pray, but they don't believe. And then they wonder why nothing arrives. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said something powerful. He said, call upon Allah while being certain of a response. Certain, not hopeful, not maybe, certain. That's the key. That's what unlocks what Allah already wrote for you. Not the words you say, the certainty you carry while saying them. Because Allah doesn't need you to beg, He needs you to believe. He doesn't need you to cry louder. He needs you to trust deeper. Let me tell you a story. A story about certainty. There was a husband and wife. The wife was 5 months pregnant. One January night, she started feeling pain. They rushed to the hospital. The doctors told them, you're 23 weeks pregnant and you're about to go into labor. Your baby will most likely be born dead. They delayed the labor for 4 days. On the 4th day, the baby was born, 1 pound, literally no larger than a hand. The doctors said, less than 2% chance this baby survives. One doctor came in, your baby has 3 bleeds in the brain. Another doctor, your baby will be in a vegetative state. A third doctor, your baby will be mentally slow and physically disabled. You might as well take it off life support. But the husband and wife didn't listen. They made dua to Allah with certainty, not hoping, believing. Every visitor who came, they said one thing, make dua for our baby. 3 surgeries, multiple blood transfusions, uncountable infections. 1 year later, baby Maria was crawling, walking, laughing, giggling, smiling. If they had put their trust in the doctors, the baby would have died. But they put their trust in Allah with certainty, and Allah answered. That's the power of certainty. And on Arafah, that certainty matters more than ever, because this is the day Allah specifically chose for answered prayers. The best dua of the entire year happens on this day. So if you come to Arafah with doubt, you're wasting the day. If you come expecting nothing, that's exactly what you'll receive. But if you come with certainty, if you ask like someone who already knows it's coming, everything changes. The miracle was never uncertain to Allah. The only question is whether you're certain enough to receive it. Allah already said yes, but you're still standing at the door like He said no. So how do you actually use this day? What does it look like to stand at Arafah with certainty? First, be specific. Don't come with vague requests. Don't say, Allah, make things better. Say exactly what you need. Name it. The job, the healing, the reconciliation, the financial breakthrough, whatever it is, say it clearly. Allah already knows what you need, but you need to know what you're asking for. Second, ask like it's already on the way. Not like you're begging for something that might not happen. Like you're collecting something that's already yours. You're not convincing Allah, you're receiving from Allah. There's a difference. One comes from desperation, the other comes from trust. Third, don't hold back. Ask for everything, the big things, the impossible things, the things you've been too embarrassed to say out loud. This is the day for that. This is the day Allah reserved for your biggest requests. Don't shrink what you ask for because you think it's too much. You're not asking a limited human, you're asking Allah, and nothing is too big for Him. Fourth, use the entire day from Fajr until sunset. Don't just make dua once and walk away. Keep asking, keep calling, keep your tongue moving with remembrance of Allah. Keep coming back to it. This day doesn't come again for another year. Use every minute of it. And finally, expect something to shift after. Maybe not immediately, maybe not in the way you imagined, but expect movement, expect change. Because when you ask with certainty on the day Allah chose for answered prayers, something always shifts. Stand at Arafah 2026 like someone who knows their time has come, not hoping it might, knowing it will. Stand at Arafah like someone collecting a package, not begging for one. After Arafah, pay attention because something is about to move. It might not happen the way you expect. It might not be immediate. But if you asked with certainty, Allah heard you. And when Allah hears, He responds. Sometimes the door opens a week later. Sometimes a month later. Sometimes it opens in a completely different form than what you imagined, but it opens. You asked for a specific job. Allah gives you a better one you didn't even know existed. You asked for a certain relationship to be fixed. Allah removes that person and brings someone healthier into your life. You asked for one door. Allah opens three you never saw coming. That's how Allah works. He doesn't always give you what you asked for. He gives you what you actually need. And most of the time, what you need is bigger than what you knew to ask for. So after Arafah, watch for the small shifts. The unexpected phone call, the opportunity that appears out of nowhere, the problem that suddenly resolves itself, the person who reaches out after months of silence. These aren't coincidences, these are answers. And when you see them, recognize them. Don't brush them off. Don't say, oh, that just happened. No, that's Allah responding. That's the miracle arriving. Maybe not in the loud, dramatic way you expected, but it's still an answer. Write it down, remember it, because the next time you're in a hard place, you'll need to look back and see proof that Allah answers, that He's always been answering, that Arafah 2026 was real. Let me tell you one more story. There was a sister on the first day of Ramadan. Her father went to the masjid. That first night he had a heart attack. He went down to sujood and couldn't get up. The brothers carried him home. He was unconscious for 48 hours. His daughter sat next to him. She looked at him tied to all these machines and she thought, what a beautiful man. He provided for me when I was young. What a terrible daughter I've been, not being there for him. She raised her hands to Allah. Oh Allah, please grant him life so I can be a good daughter to him. For 4 months, Allah granted him more life. She took care of him, provided his meals, gave him his medicine, took him to appointments. But as those 4 months went by, she realized her father was struggling. He was in pain. He was anxious. He didn't know when he would die. So she changed her dua. Oh Allah, do not let my father die except with a good and befitting ending. In the 5th month, the father came back from praying. He had a wonderful day. His family was there. His friends were there. Everyone came to visit him. He spent the whole day cheerful, no anxiety, no problems. Then as night time came, he told his wife he was having some pain and needed to rest. His youngest daughter took him upstairs. Not 5 minutes passed before she shouted, "Come upstairs, come upstairs." The whole family rushed upstairs and huddled around him. And as both daughters were holding him in their arms, he said, "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah." And he died with those words on his lips, in the arms of the daughter who made dua for him. That is the power of dua made with certainty on the days Allah chose. Years from now, you'll look back at this moment and realize something. The thing you were so desperate for, the door you thought would never open, it did. Maybe not on your timeline, but exactly when it was supposed to. and you'll understand why the wait happened, why it had to be 2026, why everything before this was just preparation. After Arafah 2026, watch, because something is about to shift. You've been waiting, and it felt like nothing was happening, but Allah was preparing you. Every closed door was protection. Every delay was timing. And Arafah 2026 might be the moment everything you've been asking for finally arrives. Not because the day is magic, because Allah appointed this moment before you even knew you'd need it. The miracle you're waiting for is already written. It's already decided. It's already sitting there with your name on it. Arafah isn't where you convince Allah to give it to you. It's where you receive what He's been holding all along. So don't come to this day with doubt. Don't come expecting nothing. Don't waste the best day of the year standing there like Allah already said no. He didn't. He said not yet. And maybe, just maybe, not yet ends on Arafah 2026. Stand there with certainty. Ask with everything you have. Name what you need. Believe it's already on the way. And then watch what Allah does after. Because when you ask with certainty on the day Allah chose for answered prayers, something always shifts. Always. Oh Allah, we ask you on this day of Arafah 2026 to bring us the miracle you've already written. Open the door you've already chosen. Give us what you've already decided. We stand here not as beggars, but as your servants who trust you've been preparing this moment all along. Make this the Arafah we look back on and say, that was the day everything changed. Ameen. Now let me ask you something. What have you been waiting for? Name it. Write it down. Because Arafah 2026 might be when it finally arrives. Don't let this day pass like the others. This might be your year.